The border is part of the first event of With Love projects.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome you all to PSM News in English. I'm Zinat Hassan here with the news in details. President Abdullah Yamin Abdul Gayoom sends a message of condolence to President of Cuba Miguel Diaz-Canel Bermudez following the plane crash in Havana. In his message, Abdullah President said he was deeply shocked and saddened to learn about the crash of a Boeing 737 airliner in Havana, claiming the lives of over 100 passengers on board and critically injuring others. In this regard, President Yamin said at this time of distress, the government and the people of the Maldives join in thoughts and prayers for the grieving families of the perished victims. The President conveyed heartfelt sympathies to those injured in this tragedy and wished them a speedy recovery. Maldives states Israel's disproportionate use of force against civilians has gone unimpeded too frequently, and such actions undermine the United Nations and directly negates the global efforts to achieve lasting peace in the region. Speaking at the 7th Extraordinary Summit Conference of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation (OIC), which convened in Istanbul, Turkey, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Maldives, Dr. Mohammad Asim, strongly objected to the decision of U.S. to move its embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem and urged member states of OIC to actively engage with countries that are considering moving their diplomatic missions to Jerusalem with a view to dissuade them from doing so. The foreign minister also underlined the long-standing position of Maldives, unequivocally supporting the establishment of an independent and sovereign state of Palestine with East Jerusalem as its capital on the Palestinian lands with pre-1967 borders living side by side with Israel. Furthermore, Maldives co-sponsored a resolution that was tabled in the special session of the Human Rights Council to establish a commission of inquiry to look into the violence in Gaza. A large number of heads of state and government, including Palestinian Prime Minister Rami Hamdallah, King Abdullah II of Jordan, and Kuwaiti Amir Sabah Ahmad Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, participated in the summit meeting. The summit condemned criminal actions of Israel forces against the Palestinians in the occupied territory while calling on the international community to uphold its legal obligations to defend the international law and order as they relate to Palestine. The summit further condemned inauguration of the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem and called upon all member states to openly condemn such action, to pursue all available legal and diplomatic avenues to defend Palestinian rights from all hostile and illegal actions, and to support decisions adopted recently by the Palestinian leadership to advance the Palestinian rights. International Aid Campaign IAC announces To Gaza with Love to help the Muslims suffering in the Gaza borders as part of the first event of With Love projects. IAC revealed $20 can be donated as part of the project to sponsor a daily meal of a family for 10 days. IAC added donations from Maldives can be deposited to accounts opened at Bank of Maldives. At least 63 Palestinians in the Gaza Strip were killed and about 2,800 wounded over the past few days in confrontations between Israeli forces and Palestinian protesters against the decision of moving the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem. Maldivian Ambassador to Thailand Mohammad Nasheed reveals engagement to travel without visa between Maldives and Thailand will be finalized within 2 months. Noting discussions held to arrange ways to travel without visa between Maldives and Thailand have now been concluded, Ambassador Nasheed stated necessary negotiations were also conducted during the recent trip of Ambassador of Thailand to Maldives, Chulamani Chatswan. Furthermore, Ambassador Nasheed highlighted that Maldives Embassy in Thailand is functioning well, adding the embassy prioritizes on strengthening relations in sectors such as business, culture, tourism and education. Thailand has in recent years become a significant trading partner of the Maldives. The Maldives established diplomatic relations with Thailand in the year 1979. Public service media PSM signs Maldives Airports Company Limited MACL as the associated partner of its FIFA World Cup coverage. At a ceremony held, the agreement was signed by Managing Director of PSM Ibrahim Khalil and Managing Director of MACL Adil Musa. Addressing the function, Managing Director Khalil noted MACL is a close partner in every project conducted by PSM and appreciated the support of MACL. He assured the participation of MACL will further assist PSM World Cup coverage in efforts to deliver a full World Cup package to the public. Speaking at function, Managing Director Adil Musa said MACL is delighted to be part of World Cup coverage since it is one of the most prominent international football competitions that interests Maldivians. Adil Musa lauded the efforts of PSM in preparing and bringing the World Cup coverage to the public. Minister of Economic Development Mohammed Said states the core objectives of the visits of First Lady Fatmat Ibrahim to the islands and the households of the capital city is to strengthen the relationship with the citizens and assist the President to successfully secure a second term in office. In a press briefing held to disseminate information on the national social campaign initiated by the First Lady, the Economic Minister noted a huge force of volunteers are backing the efforts of the government to conduct all-inclusive development projects in Maldives. In this regard, Minister Said noted the First Lady initiated a national social campaign to learn about the concerns and difficulties faced by the ordinary citizens. Continuing on, Minister Said revealed the First Lady will continue the campaign at the end of the month. The First Lady initiated the National Social Campaign in 2017. During the trip, First Lady would meet with children, women and people with disabilities and staff of government authorities and inquire about the living conditions of the citizens in the islands. During the social campaign, the First Lady has held meetings with citizens to listen to opinions and complaints with priority given for the disabled and the elderly people of the communities. Mid-year is the peak period of possible dengue outbreaks in Maldives. While dengue fever is a complex disease with multiple viruses and an extremely versatile and efficient vector, it is important to take necessary measures to prevent an outbreak.
Dengue fever is a mosquito-borne tropical disease caused by the dengue virus. Symptoms typically begin 3 to 4 days after infection. This may include a high fever, headache, vomiting, muscle and joint pains, and a characteristic skin rash. Dengue vector dynamics is strongly influenced by environmental factors, population dynamics, and climate change. Despite these challenges, dengue is a preventable disease. The solution lies in a united and sustained effort from all. Health Protection Agency HPA advises the public to rest, drink plenty of fluids and not use any medicine other than paracetamol, in addition to immediately seek expert aid if the fever exceeds 3 days. While there is no particular vaccine to prevent dengue fever, the best way to prevent the disease is to prevent bites by infected mosquitoes. HPA urges to empty out spots in and around households where stagnant water accumulates, keep roads clean, properly cover dustbins, use mosquito repellents, and close doors and windows of houses at sunrise and sunset to prevent mosquitoes from entering. A lot of factors that lead to favorable conditions for the spread of dengue and emergence of outbreaks lies beyond the scope and mandate of the health sector. Therefore, dengue control and prevention require a truly committed multi-sectoral engagement with strong support where every partner takes full ownership and responsibility of their domain of work.
China and the US issued a joint statement on economic and trade consultations, vowing not to launch a trade war against each other.
Based on the direction of Chinese President Xi Jinping and the US President Donald Trump, the Chinese and the US delegations conducted constructive consultations on trade issues. The statement said that the two sides agreed to take effective measures to sustainably decrease US trade deficit in goods with China. China will significantly increase its purchases of US goods and services to meet the consumption needs of the Chinese people and propel the high-quality economic development of China, which also helps support the US economic development and employment. According to the statement, the two nations agreed to meaningfully increase the export of US agriculture and energy products. The US side will send a delegation to China for further consultations. The two sides talked about the expansion of trade and manufactured goods and services and have reached the consensus to create favorable conditions to increase trade in those areas. The statement said that the two sides highly valued intellectual property protection and agreed to promote cooperation in this regard. According to the statement, China will promote revision of related laws and regulations, including the patent law. The two sides also agreed to encourage the two-day investment and committed to creating a business environment for fair competition. The two nations agreed to maintain high-level contact in this regard and actively seek to resolve their economic and trade concerns. The Chinese delegation was led by Xi's Special Envoy and Vice Premier Liu He, and the US officials included Treasury Secretary, Commerce Secretary, and the Trade Representative. Liu arrived in Washington on Tuesday afternoon for economic and trade consultations with the US side at the invitation of the US government. Liu, who is also a member of the Political Bureau of the Communist Party of China's Central Committee and chief of Chinese side of the China-US Comprehensive Economic Dialogue, led a delegation whose members come from a major economic sectors of the Chinese government.
The Chief Minister of India's Southern Karnataka state quit after just 2 days in office. Rather than face a confidence vote, his minority Bharatiya Janata Party was unlikely to win.
The move could allow the main opposition Congress party, which ruled the state for the past 5 years, to form the government. They have 117 seats in the 225-seat state legislature. The alliance could galvanize opponents of the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi ahead of the general election that must be held by May next year. Newly elected Karnataka lawmakers have been due to hold a confidence vote in the assembly on the orders of the Supreme Court, which intervened after the opposition had protested the state governor's decision to invite the BJP to form a state administration. Leader of Bharatiya Janata Party BJP in Karnataka, B.S. Yediyurappa, who had been sworn in as the chief minister, said he would resign rather than try to prove that he had the support of the majority of the legislators. Congress chief Rahul Gandhi hailed Yediyurappa's decision as a victory. The BJP, which rules 21 of the India's 29 states, emerged as the single largest party in Karnataka, but its 104 seats left it short of a majority. Karnataka, which is the home of India's technology hub of Bengaluru, is the only southern state where the BJP has held power.
Iraqi Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi meets Muqtada al-Sadr less than 24 hours after the clerics' bloc was declared winner of Iraq's parliamentary election, the clearest sign yet they could work together to form a coalition.
At a joint press conference, Iraqi Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi said during the meeting he agreed with Muqtada al-Sadr to work together and with other parties to expedite the process of forming a new Iraqi government. Abadi expressed it will be a strong government capable of providing citizen services, security and economic prosperity. Sadr, who is also a long-term advisory of the US, who also proposes Iranian influence on Iraq, cannot become prime minister because he did not run in the election. However, his bloc's victory puts him in a position to have a strong say in negotiations. His Sairun electoral list captured 54 parliamentary seats, 12 more than Abadi. Meanwhile, a bloc led by Hadi al-Amiri, one of the most powerful figures in Iraq, came in second. Amiri, who leads an umbrella of parliamentary groups, has maintained close ties with Iran for decades. Before the election, Tehran publicly stated it would not allow Sadr's bloc to govern close ally Iraq, with which it shares a border. Iran has influenced the choice of prime minister in the past. Winning the largest number of seats did not automatically guarantee that Sadr will be able to handpick a prime minister. Parties will have to align themselves to try and form a bloc large enough for parliamentary majority necessary to nominate a candidate. The government should be formed with 90 days of the official results, but negotiations are expected to drag on for months. The elections dealt a blow of Abadi, but he could still emerge as a compromise candidate, palatable to all sides because he has managed to completing interest of the US and Iran, unwitting allies in the war against IS militants during his term in office. In recent days, Sadr also met with Amr al-Hakim, whose Hikmah movement trailed in 7th place, as well as the ambassador from Iraq's neighboring countries, including Saudi Arabia, Tehran's main rival in the Middle East.
A stream of lava threatened to block a key Hawaii highway that serves as an escape route for coastal residents, while the first known serious injury was reported from fresh explosive eruptions from the volcano.
As magma destroyed 4 more houses, molten rock from 2 huge cracks merged in the single stream, threatening to block escape routes. The country of Hawaii Civil Defense Agency said it was expected to hit Highway 137 overnight if it kept up its rate and direction of flow. Jessica Frekane of National Park Service told reporters authorities are trying to open up a road that was blocked by lava in 2014 to serve as an alternative escape route should Highway 137 or another exit route, Highway 130, be blocked. She added that the Park Service is working to bulldoze almost a mile of hardened lava out of the way on the nearby Highway 11, which has been impassable. The Hawaii National Guard has warned of mandatory evacuations if more roads become blocked.
Chelsea coach Antonio Conte declared himself a serial winner after leading his side to a 1-0 victory over Manchester United in the FA Cup final, and said it was up to the club to decide whether to fire him.
Antonio Conte won the Premier League with Chelsea in the 2016-17 season, his first in England, racking up a then record-breaking 30 victories in the process. But the Londoners ended this season in 5th place and missed out on a Champions League spot, leading to speculation that the Italian would become the latest of almost a dozen managers to be dismissed by Chelsea in the last 15 years. The 48-year-old former Italian midfielder and coach, who won 3 Italian league titles in charge of Juventus, was an instant hit with the Chelsea fans, who loved his full-throttled passion for the game that sometimes saw him dive into the crowd to celebrate goals. He quickly banished grumbles about the departure in the previous season of former boss Jose Mourinho, Chelsea's most successful manager ever. Chelsea fans chanted his name long and loudly. But Conte's relationship with the lieutenants of Chelsea owner, Russian oligarch Roman Abramovich, grew strained almost as soon as the celebrations of last year's triumph ended. Asked whether he felt personal satisfaction after securing a last-gasp trophy this year, he said it had been a difficult but ultimately successful campaign.
I think that my past speaks very clear as a player and as a manager, because I repeat, and you can tell what you want, but I'm a serial winner, and I showed this also in England in a difficult moment for the club after a 10th place, and I think that I have showed this also today, because I think that we found the right way to win this trophy and to lift this trophy, but I'm very happy. I'm very happy for the players. I'm very happy for our fans, and at the same time, I think that I'm happy for the club because the decision to charge me in 2 seasons, I brought 2 trophies for this club, and I'm very happy.
Okay.
A Mexican man who lives in the Mexican border town of Ciudad Juarez says he is 121 years old and he has got a birth certificate and an identity card to prove it.
According to his birth certificate, Manuel Garcia was born on December 24, 1896 in Veracruz. He has 15 grandchildren and 5 children from his marriage to Rosa Perez Amendina, who had passed away. For more than 60 years, he worked in municipality of Martinez de la Torre de Veracruz, where he was raised. During the day, he likes to feed his roosters, chicks and hens and lives with his daughter, Tomasa Garcia, who said he is in good health except for his eyesight. Last month, a 112-year-old Japanese man born months before Albert Einstein published his theory of special relativity was recognized as world's oldest man. Guinness World Record said Masazo Naka, born on July 25, 1905, took the title after Francisco Núñez Olivera of Spain died this year at the age 113. The greatest authenticated age for any human is 122 years, 164 days by Jean-Alois Calmet of France, who died in 1997.
With that, we conclude the news for this bulletin. Thanks for joining us and have a pleasant day ahead. Bye-bye.
PSM Connect. Benum tak, benum wagotaku, benum channel le badal. PSM Connect.
Studying in MMI has made my fieldwork a lot easier since the institute has the best facilities and provides first-hand experiences of fieldwork. For anyone who wants to pursue a career in journalism or anchoring, joining MMI would give you a boost for your future in media career.